Now we turn to the second baseman, led by the man who broke baseball's color barrier. Jackie Robinson is, no doubt, the most influential member of the all-century team.
I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for him. His impact on the game was bigger than just the game. I mean, he had an impact on America.
When I got there, I said, you know, the one thing that I can do as a black player is to continue the fight that Jackie started.
He changed the way we thought. He changed the way we lived. And don't forget, he entertained us as a baseball player.
Jackie Robinson would have come to the big leagues at the age of 20, 21, 22, like most of us did at that time. I mean, he'd have probably broke every second base record or wherever he played.
Jackie Robinson was probably the most disruptive player. When he got on base, he created havoc.
He took Negro League baseball to the Major League. He took that excitement, bust the ball, first base, steal second, steal third, steal home. With Jackie, you can't leave the ball game because he might do something you've never seen before.
Rogers Hornsby is considered to be the greatest right-handed hitter of all time.
Hornsby's .358 batting average is the highest batting average by any right-handed batter in the history of the game.
As we come to the end of the century, no one will have hit for a 400 batting average for the last 58 years. Picture doing that once and then being consistent enough to do it over a 5-year period.
As a hitter, Hornsby had an intensity unmatched by his peers. They say he never left his home in the winter, waiting for the spring, when he'd once again reemerge and amaze.
If not for Babe Ruth, you'd look back at the 1920s and say that was the age of Hornsby. Just a remarkable player. Hard to imagine any second baseman that would be better than Rogers Hornsby.
We continue our trip around the horn with 3 superstar shortstops.
That number 8, Cal Ripken Jr. has reached the unreachable star.
It's tough to play every single game. And at shortstop, what Cal Ripken has done without missing a game, I don't know if people understand how amazing that really is.
You get a shortstop that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. What an asset it is.
Cal Ripken was a big idol of mine growing up because he was a big shortstop. I think he paved the way for the taller shortstops of today. Cal was just a great shortstop. Very knowledgeable on playing the hitters, very sure-handed, very, very accurate arm. There wasn't anything about the game that he didn't study to the nth degree.
Yet this most celebrated ball player prefers to be remembered as a blue-collar worker, one who just did his job every day.
There are a lot of great things about being a baseball player, but it doesn't change who you are. And I think that's one of the highest compliments you can pay someone, is if you say he's just a regular guy.
Chicago is the Wrigley Building. Chicago is my kind of town that won't let you down.
One thing I remember about Ernie, he loved baseball, loved to play. He wanted to play too every day.
When I think of shortstop, I think of a great band leader like Louis Armstrong.
He had soft hands. He got to the ball and seemed like every time he threw to first base, and it was often said, he just gets you.
He had great wrist, and if you threw him anything low, you know, he could hit it out of the ballpark.
Left the fly ball, deep to left, back, hey! Ernie Banks got number 500! Whee!
Sunshine, fresh air, so let's play two.
I think there's a little difference in baseball now between when I started out and what she is now. In other words, they ain't allowed to use the spit ball, the emery, and the mud ball, and the shine ball.
But even those pitching tricks couldn't stop Hannes Wagner from becoming the first dominant player of the 20th century.
He was recognized as a magnificent fielder, base runner, and batter during his day. And to this day, is still widely regarded as the best shortstop in the game, and clearly one of the finest players to have ever played the game.
It is remarkable, and it's astounding because we're talking about years when the league batting average might have been 245, 248. People who saw him 20, 30, 40 years later would say he was the best player of all time, better than Ruth, better than Cobb.
Sometimes we have to defer to the judgment of the people who actually saw him play. And when they had the first Hall of Fame election, a lot of the voters in that election had seen Wagner play. And it's interesting that Wagner and Babe Ruth got exactly the same number of votes. That's a pretty strong statement.
Coming up next,
Swinging long drive, number 500.
the all-century third baseman.
9 programs, $27 team.
We now present the greatest third baseman of the 20th century. Mike Schmidt was a player for the ages. A lethal bat, a terrific glove. Third base was Schmidt's domain. He led the National League in home runs a record 8 times and won 3 MVP awards.
It is out of here, Michael Jack Schmidt.
The combination of a big-time home run hitter and great fielder is, it's hard to find.
Right back and off the glove, and he will not. Mike Schmidt, what a play to get him!
As you're approaching 500 home runs, there's something about that number, there's a lot of focus. It does put you in an elite group in terms of players.
The 3-0 pitch. Swinging long drive! There it is! Number 500! The career 500th home run for Michael Jack Schmidt!
I've seen him enough to know this. They're never going to tell me there's somebody better.
Baltimore embraced 1964 MVP Brooks Robinson for his artistry at third base, his down-home demeanor, and his desire to succeed.
I really and truly believe everything I accomplished, now that was not all on ability. I just think my love for the game probably overrode everything else, and the passion to play.
I got to see firsthand how good a player Brooksy was. The ultimate, defensively unparalleled. He had great reflexes, he had tremendous quickness, great hand-eye coordination, had a terrific glove.
I've seen some good ones, but I haven't seen anybody any better than Brooks Robinson. Brooks did things in the 70s series that maybe America has not seen.
When people think of Brooks Robinson, they think of defense more than anything else, and there's no doubt in my mind that 70s series really acted as a springboard for my entering the Hall of Fame.
He thrilled me day after day after day, and I just loved playing him.
From the hot corner to the backstop, here are the catchers.
If you have to pick at every position one great one, Bench is the greatest catcher that ever lived and ever will live.
He was just so smart. I mean, he could sit on the bench with me, and he said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "No, I didn't see that."
I sit over here with Jonathan. He's smart.
Smart enough to revolutionize the way his position was played by keeping his right hand safely behind his back.
Well, I learned to do things that nobody else had been able to do because they'd always been two-handed catchers, and they'd take that brown glove and they'd stick it down there.
I thought Johnny had the best arm of any catcher that I've seen because of the way he threw the ball, and I think it came across his ear, across his right ear, very truly.
As great as Bench was behind the plate, he also had more than 2,000 hits, almost 400 home runs, and a knack for coming through in the clutch.
And a bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. It's a save. He's done it.
If you were going to build a catcher,
I would use Johnny Bench as a blueprint. There was nothing that Johnny Bench couldn't do behind the plate.
Lawrence Peter Berra, known to everyone as Yogi.
For 18 years, Yogi Berra was the anchor of the New York Yankees. Though he certainly didn't look the part.
Yogi, first of all, if you look at him, you'd say, well, he's not a ball player. Well, he's only a Hall of Famer.
Yogi inspired fear in opposing pitchers because he hit almost anything.
Yogi was a bad ball hitter. You couldn't throw it too high and you couldn't throw it too low.
I saw the ball good. A lot of people ask me, how come you hit so many back? To me, they look good when I hit them. I played 17 years with them. I was in 14 of them. And we won 10 World Series, and I was just born at the right time.
And the Yankees are champions. And look at Barrow. Piggyback riding Bob Cazala.
On everything he did, he had more impact than most other players do, and certainly out of proportion to the numbers he left in the book.
Coming up next, the all-century pitchers.
He would tell you. He said, here it comes. It didn't do anything but just go up. I couldn't hit it.
Small business software, $400. Letterhead, $610. Office supplies, $90. Remembering who you work for, priceless. MasterCard Business Bonuses let you earn miles good on any airline, no blackouts. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard Business Card.
The story of Joey and Rory has impacted lives all over the world. In this brand new 2.5-hour DVD collection, Rory and I reflect on his and Joey's journey and discuss life now as he and Indiana move forward, living a great story.
A song lives forever, it never, ever dies. He was hammering nails in our foundation.
Own the best of Joey and Rory on DVD today for only
$19.95 plus shipping and handling.
Order now and you will also receive the companion CD at no additional charge. To order, visit Gaither.com or call the number on your screen and receive a money-back guarantee.
Hi, I'm Chris Chambliss. You know, baseball is full of opportunities. In 1976, I had the opportunity to help the Yankees into the World Series, and this home run did it. Another place full of opportunities is the Army, where you can travel, learn a valuable skill, further your education, and get generous financial aid for post-service studies. So consider the Army, where you can be all that you can be.
Call this number toll-free or see your local Army representative. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.